morning. Welcome to those from here, those from far away in Israel, and especially those from far away not from Israel, at least the two that I've met already this morning. What I started saying is that I think that this is the second time that I'm opening this meeting, which is exciting because it actually signals or shows a trend of what's happening here on campus around Ben Gurion University. BGU, as you may know, you may not know, is the youngest university in the country, probably the most comprehensive, and therefore has pretty much every field of sciences that we normally find at universities, except for one. I mentioned that yesterday when we were talking. We don't have a law school, and we're pretty cool about it, not having lawyers in the area. But we have pretty much everything else on campus, including obviously engineering, natural sciences, humanities, social sciences, and therefore it makes life a little more difficult to compete with much older universities with a lengthy legacy and history and a very focused or narrow area of sciences that they're dealing with. Having said that, in the last few years, we can see a huge move of industries, scientists, and students dealing with IT technologies, specifically with cybersecurity, big data, data mining, robotics also, to this area of Beersheba. And probably the biggest notable event is the opening of the Advanced Technologies Park, which is right across the street, and there we can already see large industries such as EMC, RSA, IBM are here, Deutsche Telekom. I'm looking at the sign. I'll thank Intel, but you're not here yet. We want to see you in the park across the street. Obviously, we also want to see Tata in the park across the street. And that leads me to welcome our two honorable guests. I waited for people to come in. That's why I didn't start off with that. But I want to welcome our two honorable guests that came from far away. Dr. Gautam, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Gautam Shroff, Vice President and Chief Scientist for Tata Consulting Services at TCS, a scientist in his own merit, dealt with data analytics in the past, with robotics also I saw, and many other topics. We hope that this visit of yours is your first, but far from being your last. We hope that at some point, you'll feel as home as we do around here. And the other guest that we have here is Mr. Carlos Clarencia. Did I pronounce that reasonably? I hope. Probably not right, but reasonable. Who's here from Spain. The Intel Ecosystem Director. Came all the way from the other side of the Mediterranean, the western side of the Mediterranean, and is connecting the two sides together. So we have in between all of Europe. And as you know, we're now part of the EU Research and Development Directive. So we hope that between Spain, with Intel on that side, and Beersheba in Israel on this side, we'll be able to collaborate also through the European mechanisms that exist. That's the Horizon 2020, and that one of the outcomes of this meeting will also be more involvement with Horizon 2020, with you here, with yourself here. The meeting itself is big data, data mining. As a scientist myself, I do remote sensing. I think that I mentioned this when I opened the other time. In remote sensing, we've been dealing with big data always. All the images we collect from space are huge, and we collect many of them all day long. And in the end, the issue, if we look at the common definition of big data, it refers to the collection of large amounts of data, but the issue is not the collection of large amounts of data. The real issue is turning data into information and delivering that information in a way that is reasonable to the people that need to be need to understand something from all that data. So in the end, data analytics is the big thing, and data mining is the big thing. But as we go along, as we progress into smart cities, into wearable sensors, IoT, and so on, the amount of data that we collect is huge. And we have to find the ways to understand that data, and that's where universities and industry can collaborate and should collaborate. We can provide the basic science in understanding those data, developing the methods, trying to understand what the objectives are, and you in the industry will turn that into products that are useful for people in society in general. I'm sure that this will be a wonderful day and an interesting day. Welcome to all of you. ברוכים הבאים לכולם כאן. אני גם יודע לדבר עברית. Didn't say anything that I didn't say in English. And I hope that we have a fruitful day. Bacha, good luck. By the way, also, I want to applaud Bacha Shapira, Mark Last, and all the organizers that organize this event, and Lior Orkach, that organize this event on an annual basis. And in Hebrew, we say, Yishar Koach.
Thank you, Dan. And I would like to call Professor Yosef Kost, the Dean of the Faculty of Engineering.
Thank you, Bracha. Shalom and good morning. Professor Dan Bloomberg, Vice President, Dean of Research and Development. Professor Bracha Shapiro, Head of the Department of Information System Engineering. Dear friends, colleagues, students, and distinguished guests. It's a pleasure to welcome you on behalf of the Faculty of Engineering Sciences to the third, as Dan mentioned, annual International Conference on Data Mining and Business Intelligence. For Dan, it's the second. For me, this is the third conference I'm invited to open. And I would like to thank the organizer for the initiative, the persistence, continuing and developing the theme, which is the cutting edge of the information science and technology. Over the 20 years, data-driven knowledge discovery has transformed both research and technology and industry. Hundreds of data mining algorithms have been developed and used to find novel and useful knowledge, which is hidden in the digital data. A novel profession has evolved, the profession of data scientist, which according to the Harvard Business Review is considered the sexiest job of the 21st century. One of the ultimate goals of data mining is the ability to make predictions. Obviously, predictions is not an easy task. As the famous quote says, it's difficult to make prediction, especially about the future. I found the ability to discover new knowledge through an analysis of large data exciting. The practical application of data science span from consumer analytics, banking, healthcare, and fraud detection. Dan mentioned some. Since healthcare is my professional and personal interest, I found the work recently. It was also publicized on the university website. The work recently reported by Klimov, Shklensky, and Yuval Shachar from the Department of Information System Engineering of high interest, where they showed that data mining approach, they can predict renal damage in diabetic patients. From the field that I'm coming, we worked years to predict something, so this is really exciting that you can do it based off available data. The conference topics are of high relevance to the departments of Information System Engineering, Industrial Management. I would like to point out the graduate program that we have in the Department of Information System Engineering. I'm sure Bracha would mention it later on. which is focused on data mining and business intelligence, which is a graduate program. The Faculty of Engineering Sciences at the Ben Gurion University is the largest in the university, 17 departments and units, close to 200 faculty, 6,000 students. We are big, but more importantly, we also excel. To give you a few numbers, the BGU is rated 30th among the young universities, less than 50 years old. The 39th among the technical universities worldwide, among the top 100 universities in the field of cybersecurity, 64 based on the publication of faculty members of the Department of Information System Engineering, the only department in Israel in the top 100. I see audience from the Department of Industrial and Management Engineering. Based on the Forbes magazine, the department is ranked as #1 among the departments in Israel. I mentioned the faculty being large. Being big, we also generate a lot of data. Would be great if any of you, and I referred it to the students, could come to do some data mining of the knowledge or the data that we have, discovering a new knowledge of value to the faculty, and I'll be happy to consider a fellowship to graduate students that is willing to focus on the data. I would like to congratulate Professor Bracha Shapira, Mark Last, Lior Rokach, the co-chair of this conference, for the initiative, continued efforts, and the superb program they organize. As Dan mentioned, this year we have speakers from, he did not mention that, we have speakers from three universities, 6 international companies, Tata, RSA, IBM, Microsoft, Intel, and Sales Predict, and one speaker from the Israeli Defense Force. Welcome to all the invited speakers. Wish you all a fruitful conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Coast. And before we turn to our first session, I would like to send some thanks to the people who helped us organize this conference. First to our local organizers, Shai, Anat, and Shosh. Also to the chairs, Professor Mark Last and Lior Rokach, and of course to our sponsors, the Intel company that has a long history with collaboration with our department, and also donated to us big data labs that actually helped us do a lot of our innovation in the field. And the EMC company that also has a lot of cooperation with our department, and the Telecom Innovation Lab, as well as the university authorities, the Faculty of Engineering, the rector and the president of the university that donated and sponsored our conference. And I would like to call Professor Mark Last to chair the first session.